Welcome to another episode of Biz in 30. We've got a great 30 minutes lined up for you ahead. My name's Jim Grund, co-founder and co-host of Biz in 30. And I want to introduce you to Mr. Jim Casper, our founder and co-host. Jimbo, take it away.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's good to be back, and specifically today with Sasha Birger. Sasha is the COO, Chief Operating Officer of Tizbi Corporation. And Sasha and I, just for full disclosure, have been friends for many years. Sasha's company, Tizbi, did a lot of work for our company. We were in business for almost 30 years, our personal company. Mr. Birger was born in Latvia. He's Latvian. So that's not a Southern accent you hear, even though he lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. That is a Latvian accent. And he was raised in Latvia, and he has a master's degree in physics from the Moscow Institute of Technology and Physics, which is a highly touted school and also looked upon worldwide as the counterpart, or the Russian counterpart, to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in Boston. So Sasha has 3 children and a beautiful Polish wife. And also, Sasha is one of the 2 or 3 brightest people I've ever met. And so we're very fortunate to have him with us today. And we thought it was a good timing because of the latest rage with AI, which Sasha has developed quite a bit of it himself. He's going to talk about how to make AI can help make small businesses more efficient, more profitable, and more accurate in what they do. So, Sasha, welcome to Biz in 30.
Jim, thank you so much for your warm introduction and full disclosure.
Sasha, tell us about Tizbi. I'm interested in the name for one, but also what your core competencies are and how many years you've been in business, and just in general, tell us about Tizbi.
Yeah, we've been in business for more than 25 years as a North Carolina corporation. Before that, me and my partners, we did this work, same type of work, but not as a corp. And the name Tizbi came from initials of last names, first letter of last names of 4 partners. So my letter is B in Tizbi, right? And our president, Jim Turner, he is a T, right?
Okay.
Also, Dmitry Ivanov and Tommy Zwerble. Dmitry is our chief technical officer in Tizbi, and I'm CIO. And Tommy is a great friend and great partner, but he is not a part of Tizbi structure today. He works with us as one of our main customers.
Mm-hmm. Good. Very good. How big is your company? How have you developed your business over the years?
Yeah, we started in 1998, and believe it or not, I was a young programmer at that time, and I was the number 1 programmer. We offered programming services, and right now we are 105 developers deep. Many of them are located in the separate countries, so 80% in Latvia, and about 20% moved in to different countries in Eastern Europe and other places. But the Latvian team, it's a core team. They work as a daytime workers in our offices with a great environment and safe, productive. So in 1998, Jim Turner and I looked at the world around us and say, why nobody seemed to be able to provide a good quality programming to the customers around us? Everybody is suffering. Everybody is telling us horror stories about how bad was the programming experience working with anybody, with hired programmers, with contracted programmers, with overseas programmers. No matter where you look, everything is bad. So today, 2025, him and I are looking around and asking the same question: why everybody else, except for us, providing such bad experience to the customers in the whole world, and nobody, so except maybe a couple of good competitors, nobody can get it right. Why it has to be such a bad experience? So with that, our mission statement becomes: just don't make it that bad.
Everybody would welcome that.
We are, of course, the best possible place a customer in
Of course.
United States of America, especially in the South, can come and bring their development project. And it will be done. It will not be a bad experience. It will be a lot of fun. It will be reasonably priced to what it should be priced to today's market. And it will be done with love and quality.
And I could speak to that, Jimmy.
All
I could
right.
speak to that because I know as a fact that Sasha does really, really great work.
Yeah.
We
Well,
never looked at it. We never looked for anybody else.
It's proved in your longevity and your
Mhm.
success. So
That's
Thank you.
exactly. So Sasha, there's a big uproar across the world concerning the Chinese DeepSeek AI. Okay. I noticed this morning too, I watched Maria Bartiromo's show early in the morning. Obviously, it's a great time in the East Coast because it comes out at 6:00, or 7:00, I guess. Anyway, watching, and she had some guests talking about this DeepSeek. It, as you know, took my tech stocks down for a few days, and I'm sure it did many people. So I have faith in the market coming back, but it might be a good idea for you to define AI. There's so many concepts I've heard people speak of, and maybe our viewers and listeners would like to know your definition of AI and what Tizbi's doing to facilitate the AI.
Yeah, I love it. So I was always dreaming of thinking computers who are thinking. Even 25 years ago, I was talking to my customers. Hopefully, you might remember that you and I were talking about this. How people
Yes,
use
very
computers
much.
in the business, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, at the best case, 20 years ago, at the best case, you can expect them to use them to send an email. So just a faster way to communicate. Well,
Mhm.
not so good, it's, of course, it's a use, right? But it's not using the potential. Later on, accounting, maybe spreadsheets, maybe some applications like accounting. So it's like maybe a secretary, right? So we use a computer as a way to send message and maybe as a way to have the notebook, right? The notes, this is not what computers were built for. They were built as thinking machines. And I was always dreaming of thinking machines which can deliver some intelligent value, not just go after us or send a message or play the game. And AI is ancient. The AI art is going back hundreds of years ago, actually, right? But then maybe last 40, 50 years, it was on the inflection point, and it's growing, and it was this destined. It was right timing for ChatGPT moment
Mhm.
for AI to surface up from the underneath of our intelligence here, right? So
Mhm.
AI I define it very simple: thinking machine.
Big machine.
Thinking by definition.
You've used the expression computer learning quite a bit when we were in business and we worked together. That is an expression that always intrigued me because of computer learning. Is this what we're talking about with AI?
So deep learning is one of the
Deep learning.
technologies. It's one of
Mhm.
the technologies under the umbrella of AI. AI has
Mhm.
multiple directions,
Mhm.
branches, and machine learning, deep learning. There are
Mhm.
definitely some segments in this area, and I know my area pretty well. So I think the way
Mhm.
it was developing from the concept called perceptron to deep networks. The deep networks, the word deep means many layers, doesn't mean anything
Mhm.
else. Doesn't mean that machine is thinking real deep. No, it just means
Yeah.
many. In a sense, it is the same. But then things like machine learning and the other technologies started showing up. For example, reinforced learning. And lately,
Mhm.
the very important breakthrough was called transformers. So people who are interested, they can look it up. There are plenty of examples and material on the internet. So the software for thinking machines is developing quickly, and that results in this amazing outbursts of things which we see. Self-driving cars is another branch. Computers playing chess and go and winning over everybody in the champions. It's another branch of it, right? Every time you
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
say the machines are thinking and maybe becoming better than even the small number of experts, that becomes a little victory of AI. Then another benchmark was a Turing test. And we kind of quietly surpassed the Turing test without making a big announcement. And what Turing test is, and I'm going to make sure I spell it right, but this is a test when you have a human being on one side of the wire, and then on the other side of the wire, maybe the machine or the human being. And if it's a machine has to be convincing the human being on the other end that that machine is a human being. Yeah, that's a Turing test. There are many, it's a whole area of computer science. It was considered a gold standard.
Yeah.
When we pass the Turing test, we will be in AI area. Now, everybody agrees that we kind of quietly passed it, and nobody even noticed that. Nobody even noticed. So, and then I think our next benchmark is called AGI, where the computers become good thinkers, not about one narrow subject, but about everything. And they can kind of compete with smartest or most highest IQ from human beings in multiple or all areas. And I think that's still in the future, but it's coming.
Is that what when I go on, when I am on the internet and I'm talking to a service, a support staff, for instance, Apple or Riverside here, I get a bot, and you could swear they're people doing that, and they address a multiple something. There's still some glitches in it, but so that fascinates me a little bit.
Chatbots is another area where AI is applied. All types of chatbots, support bots, sales bots, assistants, digital assistants. This area is quickly improving, and I celebrate it. I think the less.
Okay. I agree. For small business people, that's huge. We'll talk about that in a second. So when we spoke a few weeks ago, you mentioned AgenticAI. Okay.
Agentic.
And, yeah. And would you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely.
In terms that Jimmy and I and maybe some of the people out there can understand, so that we can go to the next cocktail party or dinner party and say, well, we're working on AgenticAI. Okay.
Hey, Jim, you look so agentic today. You know, this is...
Yeah.
So the really simple concept here, right? That we had this large language models celebrated in 2024. And we have the flurry of amazing LLMs coming out. The last one was DeepSeek from China, which is open source, haven't had the chance to test it, but I absolutely will, and people say it's good. But started with ChatGPT 3, but I was watching ChatGPT when it was 1 and 2, and it was not so good, but had some promise to some people. And then Anthropic is amazing, Claude and Sonnet. Anthropic is quite a contender, and we have also Llama, Gemini, and Elon Musk, last but not least, Krog, and few others, and few others. So, but they are LLMs. So what they are is they are just talkers, AI talkers. Pretty much they are just good about thinking in the language terms, but they are kind of passive. If you ask everybody's opinion, you know, it's not all of it is not just talking. You know, you sometimes have to do something, right? Not just talk.
Yes, of course.
That's why we have to switch to agents. And that's what AgenticAI will mean. Yeah. It's when you are tired of talking and need to do some actions, that's when you become agentic. We are hearing a lot from everybody that 2025 would be the year of AgenticAI, where we switch from the words to deeds. And we'll be doing things with AgenticAI. An example of things which we will be doing, well, okay, let's have your AI to find a place on your calendar and book a restaurant for you and your wife without you doing anything. There is no reason why your AI assistant would not know your preferences, your schedule, and maybe it will reach out to you to give you 2 or 3 choices as agentic action occurs, but maybe if you will not respond in time, it will still complete it. And then it might decide, I better book this restaurant while Jim is sleeping because it may be tomorrow too late. And his wife will be mad at him for missing her favorite restaurant, which he, of course, knows, he or she, the agent. Then that's just a simplistic example, or a more complicated example in business would include, okay, let's ship the product. I have an order, I'll ship the product. You know, like I might
What's the best way to do it?
I might be a partner with my warehouse worker who will actually move the product from the shelf to the truck. But the agent will do pretty much the rest. Whatever step of actions will require to ship an order.
That's a big gap, and it needs to be filled. That's a big gap, and it needs to be filled.
Yeah.
I know Amazon's doing some things along those lines, but not exactly that. But that's a big one. So people are running around, Sasha. Thank you for that explanation, by the way. People are running around the world yelling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, okay, with this Chinese DeepSeek, okay? And, there's some people that say it's nothing. Some people are saying they can't prove they're doing it. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on it. But how long do you think it'll take for the U.S. to catch up with that, if that is indeed true, what they're saying?
That's a loaded question, and I don't think I can give you a simple answer here. So I probably will try to go from multiple directions, if you don't mind, and if the time allows.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe I will start with the interesting statement for everybody that I'm failing to be surprised. I'm still not understanding why people are surprised.
Yeah.
That's my surprise. Why is everybody like when China has landed the Mars mission with the rover from the first time? We didn't do it from the first time. We did it, but it took us multiple attempts, right? Nobody was so surprised as now, right? But I think technologically, we should not underestimate what they can do as a country, as a quite amazing and creative and educated society. So we should respect that part and treat our opponents with respect.
I would agree. I think.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. I was going to agree with you. So.
On the technology side, if you want me to comment on their model, I haven't had a chance to play with it myself, but I absolutely should, and we will as a company. So what is coming as a significant achievement in my mind is not the low price for training, which we are not sure about, but the fact that it is open source model. And to me, this is amazing part. That's what I want to emphasize, that DeepSeek is open source. What that means is anybody, you, me, can take this model and build on top of this and improve. And they just gave it to the whole world to build on.
Sure. So there's a catch-22 with that, though, okay? From the standpoint of, guess who you're giving your information to?
I don't know for sure. Might be wrong, but I think when you copy it on your computer, it stays on your computer. It's a model which you can download.
Okay. I don't know if you used to. I guess the question is, if you're using the DeepSeek, who's following what's going on with DeepSeek? And I'm not in a debate. I'm just saying there's some question there about that. Anyway, so you're right about open source, and that's the amazing thing about it. And they wanted that to be open source, okay, for a specific reason. But anyway.
What my thought about this is, for instance, if you develop this open source model, right? Maybe you have more than just that model, and you give your second best model or third best model to the world as open source, retaining the number one model, right? So that maybe showing you what else is in the cooking. Sure. So I think that's my second direction I'm going to approach your question. My third direction I'm going to approach your question will be about, I'm thinking how to word it the best, but I want to say for the world, it's probably a good thing because intelligence becomes more affordable. Maybe too quick. I think from the Altman's perspective or Elon Musk perspective, who have heavy dollars invested in that, that's not a good thing. But I think for the world and for us consumers and for the small business, which I deeply care about this, which I care about their success, I think it's a good thing that intelligence becomes more affordable. And
exactly.
And with that comes the responsibility. I think it's a little bit of challenge to start benefiting from this or be behind or be left behind. So
I'd agree.
what saddens me a little bit is when I see a lot of businesses, very few of them gearing up to seriously take advantage of this. I do see some attempts, but I don't see serious efforts as a massive wave in the small to medium business yet.
Yeah, well, it could be the DeepSeek coming in, maybe a wake-up call for everybody here in the United States. That
I would agree.
while like you said, it shouldn't be a surprise, but sometimes when it's put right in front of you, you realize I got to step up my game and I got to start, looking at what we can do to be a little more proactive. I think one of the things that stood out to me, just in the limited DeepSeek reviews, was that they use much less energy than what we're thinking AI is going to cost us in the United States. And I'm not sure how that all comes together, but our electrical grid and our infrastructure to support AI has come into some question.
Yeah.
All I want to do is catch up if it is indeed that great of a platform.
Sasha, we look at the benefits of what AI could bring to us, and I look at just hopeful thinking that from a medical standpoint, how do I cure cancer? From a business standpoint, if I want to buy another company, can you give me all the information I need regarding that company in a short period of time? Is this the kind of thing we could look forward to?
Absolutely.
Good question.
Good question. And I don't know the exact answer, but that's definitely where it's coming. I'm using AI every day. I can tell you. I'm doing it for pretty much, I'm training myself to use it with everything, including validating my daughter's homework. And I'm getting rusty, although I'm challenging her to do it without AI first. Well, I think we need to start looking as a society, which I'm deeply worried that we might be lagging behind as a society. So we need to look at all the levels starting from the school. And I'm not a big fan of prohibiting AI in school. I think we should be using AI. I think we should be challenging our teachers to use AI. And our kids have to grow up with the ability to leverage what newest achievements in technology can bring, and we need to gear up towards education. The progress doesn't occur by itself. Progress occurs when 10,000 engineers get together and start working on something. I'm sure DeepSeek occurred about the same way when 10,000 of engineers were tasked with a challenge. It was a little bit easier for them to build this model than for Sam Altman, because when they did it, Sam Altman's was out there and they had a benchmark. I don't know if they used it or not, but they could. And at least they could benchmark it. So I think we will see competing AI models, interacting AI models. They will talk to each other. While we are talking between us, they will talk to each other and get smarter. Provides amazing takeoff opportunity for the whole technology. I think we should be in the position to benefit from this. There are some dangers, a lot of them, but yes, your way of applying AI is very reasonable. And
excuse me, but you mentioned earlier the method of just getting a product out the door, and I would think for methods and procedures that would apply to retail, production, manufacturing, almost any line of work is going to be a benefit to make us all more efficient.
That's true. You save a lot of money too. I've got a question that's maybe stupid, but that's not unusual for me. So, Sasha, do you imagine Congress ever utilizing AI to write these massive bills? I'm sorry, 100%.
Yeah. So to write and even to read. Think about if you have on your table a 300-page document. If you are a member, let's say you are a representative of a state, and you receive a document, 300 pages, and you'll have like a day or a couple of hours to review it and decide on it. AI is a massive help. So I think like your personal Jim Casper, the representative AI assistant, should know your pain points should point the places where you would agree or disagree on that, and
Great, yeah.
connect it to relevant material. I think not only writing, but also writing, no doubt, but reading it. So
Interesting. Yeah.
will help. But now think what writing it. So the AI model should look at very minimum every single person who will vote on that bill to come, and will load everybody's preferences and will maximize the chances to pass it while satisfying the requirements of the author of the bill. How about that?
Sure.
So we will write
Sure.
engineer the bill to pass quickly.
I see it, interestingly enough, I see it as a tool in negotiating. Okay.
Totally.
Don't you?
That's a good point.
I really do.
Jimbo. Good point.
I see it. Thank you. So anyway, that's a great discussion. Going forward, Tizbi's role in going forward with AI. So for our viewers, where do they go for more information about AI that's truthful? Okay. That explains it better. We're all out there, and I know people like you, the tech people, are just into this, and you could tell how out of water some of us feel with it. Where do they go? Where do they go, Sasha? Find information. I mean, can they contact you through us, or can they?
So let me first.
I'm not trying to sell. I'm just trying to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a stake in the ground and just tell a little bit about Tizbi, why we are here. Our main goal, and my personal goal, and for my partners and for all our team, we live to make a small business successful in technology. That's why we exist. That's why we wake up every morning and come to work with our smiles, because we help small and medium business in our region and elsewhere to be successful with technology. AI is one of the core technologies of this year, and we are definitely there to help. I have conversations with different customers every day about AI, about the possibilities, about leverage, about unused opportunities, about what to do differently, how to prepare, how to structure your business, how to structure your data, how do you structure your team, your technology team, to be maximizing the leverage of AI. My opinion, it's life critical for many businesses to leverage it or be left behind in the competition. It's that critical. And yes, we can definitely advise. We do a lot of consulting, sometimes at no cost, to help businesses get started, get leveraged, and
regardless of size.
Well, that's a great summary, and we appreciate your input. Sasha, it's been our honor to have you on today. We really appreciate your participating, and on behalf of our viewers and our listeners, we want to thank you. Look forward to future conversations.
And thank you, Jim.
Really do. Thank you. And as you know, at the end of every podcast, we have economic statistics, okay, and facts, Sasha. These are the facts, okay, just the facts. Again, I'm going to go back to Steve Forbes and Steve Moore on Unleash Prosperity. The American tax system, and I didn't know this, gets 70% of its revenue from payroll taxes and only about 2% from tariffs, okay? I'm not trying to make a statement here. I'm just giving you facts. Unleash Prosperity, the newsletter, Steve Moore and Steve Forbes, wonder if a 15% income tax and a 15% tariff on imported goods would work as a simpler tax system. And we'd love to have your thoughts, but we'd also love to have our viewers' thoughts. And if the viewers have any questions for Sasha Birger, please go to our website, bizin30.com. I'll put it up on the screen for you. And also let us know what you think of the idea that Steve Forbes and Steve Moore have with a 15% income tax and a 15% tariff in order to cut the tax load and bring more revenues in from tariff rather than from income. I'm not advocating anything. This is just a thought. Any thoughts on that, Sasha?
Okay, so since I'm a nerd in my nature, I will be digging deeper into that question, and I want to ask this respectable gentleman to provide some computer model and research because every decision like that it sounds good, but it might hurt you in the back, like backfire.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not advising for or against, but I am, as a classic CTO by nature, I say, why wouldn't we build a little computer model, casting United States economy into a couple of computer programs, and play some scenarios with that and see if indeed it will work for, say, duration of 20 years forward. What will be the outcome?
Model it.
Numbers.
Model it.
Run it by the number.
Yeah. Again, if any viewers have questions on AI, you could contact us, or we'll put the Tizbi website up as it has been. And you're welcome to go on there and contact Sasha, or you can send it through us, and we'll read your comments online on the tax thing too. We'll read your comments in the next podcast. Jimmy,
it's an interesting challenge you put out there, Jimbo, and it was a great podcast for us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sasha. It's been great. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you. It was very enjoyable.
Have a great week.
You too.